Revenue Inbox Customization page allows the users to adjust various aspects of interaction between Salesforce and Revenue Inbox Outlook add-in and Chrome extension. This includes viewing, processing, and search patterns for different object types and their fields. See the left and central panes here. Also, here you can adjust the appearance and various functional settings of Revenue Inbox Sidebar in the right pane. To open Revenue Inbox Customization settings page, click the menu button in the header of the Revenue Inbox Sidebar and then select Customization. It will be opened in your browser. You can change the set of Salesforce objects handled via Revenue Inbox Sidebar by selecting Object Types in the left pane. Use the Quick Find field to search for needed Salesforce object types. After an object is selected, its card will appear in the central pane so you can manage its fields and handling settings. Here you can change how object cards appear and behave in Revenue Inbox Sidebar. These settings are defined specifically for every object type enabled in Revenue Inbox. You can have up to 4 object fields shown on unexpanded card. To define which fields to show, select the needed field names in the list. To remove unneeded ones, click Close icon. Next, when you click Detailed View, here you can define which record fields will be listed for viewing and editing in an object card's detailed view or in the Create Record dialog for an account or a contact or another type, as well as in the dialog that appears when you save a new email or calendar item using the Save button. Simply click the field you want to add to the card. Use this field to search Salesforce fields that currently are not enabled. Click on the notepad icon to show more details about the field and, if needed, designate it as important. Important fields are prioritized for displaying when you create new records or view existing ones in the sidebar. You can toggle Show Only Important Fields here to display only fields designated as important or all fields. Please note that a field is also handled as important if it is set to be auto-prefilled with data. And click Done. Also note that if you adjust objects or field settings, for these changes to be applied you must log out from Revenue Inbox add-in and then re-log in. Use the Sort By Pick list to set the order in which object card will appear on the sidebar's home screen or in search results. Revenue Inbox applies custom Salesforce views when searching for records via the add-in or Chrome extension, and you can specify which filter you want to be applied for every object type by selecting them in the Global Search Filter pick list. For example, if you want Revenue Inbox to search only for accounts created by you, set My Accounts in the pick list opened for the account type. Also note that besides the preset views, you can add your own custom created Salesforce views. Besides this general scope focusing mechanism, you can also set additional filtering to be applied on displaying specific types of related records using the contextual search field setting. Contextual search field also uses preset or custom created views to define what records will be displayed among related records in the sidebar when you select an email or calendar item, based on specific field value criteria, for example status, created date, priority. So if the default view is set for opportunities, only those related opportunities which are not older than 1 year and are not closed will be displayed. If you want to make the scope of handled records focused according to your needs, you can also create your own view according to your preferences. There is a selection of preset global and context view filters available for every object type, suiting various record filtering needs. The default one is Default Filter of Revenue Inbox. To see the filter's criteria, hover the mouse over it in the picked list. The Search By List setting allows to define what object fields are used both when Revenue Inbox searches for existing associated records and when you are searching for a certain record of this type. Specifically, if you enter a value to search for via the sidebar, the value will be matched against the contents of the specified fields of all records of this type in Salesforce. If this field is left blank, then all fields will be covered in the search. Additionally, take into consideration that if too many fields are set in the search by, Salesforce search will take considerably more time to complete, so it's recommended to limit their number to as few as possible. Select the Allow Create or Allow Update checkboxes to allow selected card type objects to be created or updated respectively via record cards. These checkboxes are completely unrelated to Salesforce permissions. It only adds an additional permission level in Revenue Inbox. For example, if a user is not allowed to create or update lead records in Salesforce, one will not be able to create or update these records regardless of this setting's status. The account type opened in the central pane also has additional setting allowed to create person accounts, which is displayed if Salesforce person accounts are enabled in your organization. When enabled, this setting allows person accounts to be created via the Revenue Inbox sidebar. You can select object types not to be displayed in Revenue Inbox search results. This checkbox also removes selected object types from related records list. You can adjust the card's order in the sidebar by either dragging them in the list or by clicking the More icon and moving the card to the top or to the bottom. You can also pin cards to have their categories displayed in the sidebar at all times, even if Revenue Inbox cannot find relevant records of that type in Salesforce. For example, if the case card is not pinned here, this object category will not be displayed in the sidebar if no case related to selected email or calendar item is found in Salesforce. By default, you should use Salesforce content documents for attachment savings, which allows to prevent duplication of stored files and to optimize Salesforce storage use. Salesforce attachments are used only when the first option is not available. To configure attachment saving via Revenue Inbox, you need to enable the respective object type here. To do that, enable the checkbox next to Content Document or the attachment object in the Object Salesforce column. The object will be added to the central column, all its settings and fields automatically populated. If both object types are selected, Content Document will prevail, so if your Salesforce organization only uses attachment objects, make sure that the other box is disabled. And keep in mind that if neither object is enabled, Revenue Inbox will not be able to save attached files to Salesforce. Now let's go through various settings which allow you to adjust the look and behavior of Revenue Inbox add-in sidebar to match your preferences. Select this checkbox to have email tracking automatically enabled for all emails you compose and send to external recipients. Another setting related to Engagement Panel. When enabled, notifications in Revenue Inbox sidebar's bottom toolbar will be displayed when the tracking code is triggered by the recipient of all such emails, as if they were marked as important, meaning pinned, in the Engagement Panel by the user. The magic pixel tracking code only gets auto-inserted into emails if your Revenue Inbox add-in or Chrome extension is opened when you create a new email. If it's closed when you compose an email, the tracking code will not be inserted. If you select this checkbox, Revenue Inbox will not display related objects in the sidebar. By default, Revenue Inbox doesn't display objects related to internal emails. Select this checkbox to allow Revenue Inbox to search for internal email addresses in Salesforce and display all objects related to the opened internal emails. Toggle this setting to show or hide chatter access button in Revenue Inbox sidebar. Select this checkbox if you do not want to get auto-generated Salesforce chatter notifications about emails and attachments processed by Revenue Inbox. This setting defines whether you allow to save email messages converted to .eml files with Salesforce objects. This setting manages the possibility to use Salesforce email templates from Revenue Inbox sidebar. This setting manages the possibility to search an account or a contact in LinkedIn from Revenue Inbox sidebar. Enable this setting if you want to have the ability to assign support cases in queues via Revenue Inbox sidebar using case assignment rules, in order to assign cases to your colleagues according to your preferences. Enable this setting if you want to have the ability to assign leads in queues via Revenue Inbox sidebar using lead assignment rules in order to assign leads to your colleagues according to your preferences. Here, set what smart actions you want to appear at the sidebar's bottom toolbar. You can also reorder them as you like. This setting makes the auto-save all emails in this thread checkbox in saving email dialog unchecked by default, so you will need to select this checkbox specifically for those messages you consider worth adding to the relevant correspondence thread in Salesforce. This implies performing an extra action on email processing but allows saving some storage space in your organization. If the autosave emails in thread synchronization setting is enabled and this setting is checked, when you save an email by clicking the Save button, the autosave new email within the thread checkbox will still be unselected by default and you will have to manually select it to auto-track the thread in Salesforce. This setting allows to edit saved emails body text in Save dialog. It comes with few limitations though. Refer to knowledge base article for the full description. Considering the amount of records processed over Revenue Inbox's different data handling scenarios by multiple end users and the possibility of simultaneous record updating directly in Salesforce, application of deduplication mechanisms is required to keep the data tidy and well organized. This setting is enabled by default. It can be disabled if that is your preference, specifically if you want no task or email message duplicates to be created in Salesforce. Salesforce has a limitation on WhoID linking. Any activity can be linked only to one object, so in order to get a task or email message based on your email correspondence linked to multiple objects, Revenue Inbox must create its clones in Salesforce. This is the default behavior preferred by most Revenue Inbox users. If you disable this setting to prevent creation of activity clones in Salesforce, linking of emails to multiple objects will become unavailable. If you already linked an email to multiple objects, the first linked object will be unlinked. On modifying the email's primary association, you will be prompted to replace the current value in the name field of an already existing task or email message with the name of new object you want to associate the email with. For example, if you first save an email linked to a contact and then you try to save it linked to a lead, you will see the following notification. Additionally, you can use the related allow creating email duplicates to be linked to these object types field to set what object types task or email message clones are allowed to be created so to be linked, instead of disabling creation of duplicates. The allow creating duplicate emails in Salesforce feature is not to be confused with general email deduplication always automatically applied by Revenue Inbox Synchronization when email business correspondence is processed and saved in Salesforce. General deduplication prevents creation of redundant clones of the same email by several users within a Salesforce organization. After a user in an organization sends or receives an email and saves it to Salesforce, another user from the same organization who received the message will see an indication that the email has already been saved in Salesforce in the header of Revenue Inbox sidebar upon selecting it in the email client. Besides preventing email duplicates creation, Revenue Inbox ensures that no duplicated contacts or events are created in your Salesforce organization. This deduplication is handled by synchronization. Contacts deduplication is based on the email address field. Instead of creating a new instance of contact with the same email address, Revenue Inbox pulls the existing one from Salesforce. Events deduplication is applied based on their subject, start date, and organizers fields. If the same event is created or updated in Microsoft Outlook and Salesforce at the same time, only the instance created or updated in Microsoft Outlook will be kept. The other instance will be replaced. Task deduplication is applied based on their subject, due date, and owner fields matching. Revenue Inbox also includes a duplicate records merging feature based on Salesforce contacts and accounts merging mechanisms. It's triggered when one or several users in the same Salesforce organization create a lead, a contact, or an account based on the same email address. It allows selecting a single preferred option between the non-matching values in record fields. After you mark the preferred values and click Merge, the second instance of the record will be deleted from Salesforce and its associated items will be relinked to the resulting correct instance. This set of options is intended for adjusting Revenue Inbox add-in and Chrome extension behavior when it processes new emails or events. Object types entered in this field will not be selectable to be linked to email records. Object types entered in this field will be auto-selectable to be linked to new email records. This function is only available if you're using Adaptive View. Object types entered in this field will not be selectable to be linked to event records. Object types entered in this field will be auto-selectable to be linked to new event records. This function is only available if you're using Adaptive View as well. In the latest Revenue Inbox updates, end users can set how files attached to emails or calendar items should be handled by default through auto-selection. These are available options. This option allows to prevent saving in Salesforce of small images or animations attached to an email or calendar items as a part of signature, for example. However, the users will be able to select them if needed. This option means that any attached file will be auto-selected to be saved in Salesforce, but the users will be able to unselect unneeded attachments. This option means that no attached files will be auto-selected, but the users will be able to select needed ones. That's about it on managing customization settings. Once someone in your team configures these settings according to your organization needs, you can easily import one's customization setup for all Revenue Inbox users. With these controls on the top of the page, you can push and pull custom settings to and from your colleagues, or export settings to a file or import from one. Reset to Default puts in place the default settings which are controlled by your local Revenue Inbox admin. And after updating customization settings, make sure to click Save in the upper right corner of the page to apply the changes.